Hey folks, welcome back. Another Pokemon's video. So we have this new Pokefair Select Scout, right? Which is also really nice, right? If you look at the units, and this one's what, for 5K? Which, if you're a free-to-play player, congratulations, you saved yourself $40, I want to say. Anyways, it makes you feel better. So yeah, the banner's good. Banner's good. You have 6 featured. Well, they're non-featured. You have 6 non-featured fair exclusive sync pairs that you could select at the end, right? Being Classic Blue, Champion Iris, Classic Elesa, SS Giovanni, Nidoking, Sings with Giovanni, Nidoking, Sings with Cyrus, Darkrai, and then down the Gardevoir. So let's talk a bit about them. They're all really, really nice, I'd say, right? So, should we talk from bottom again? Bottom's probably Diantha, right? I mean, the only real thing Diantha has going for her is that she's like fairy type. And in terms of like the fairy type units, she is probably one of the better fairy type DPS units. But on the other hand, she does have a bit of a wonky setup overall. She'll get better with Fairy Zone, right? And yes, Fairy Zone, not Misty Terrain, alright? Misty's Terrain's not going to do her anything. Fairy Zone. But yeah, at the moment, she's just alright. And needs that bit of an upgrade later on. So, what else is there? I'd say Classic Blue. Classic Blue is a bit of the same, right? No Rock Zone at the moment, but he's still pretty nice because you can give your team like crit buffs, which is cool as a striker while buffing his own crit. And his overall damage is decent, even without. I mean, both their damages are like, if you fully set it up, right? Their damages are decent, even without the zone. And obviously, with zone, they're going to be much, much, much better. But at the moment, without zone, they're clearly a step below, I'd say, in terms of units. But yeah, those two, I think, you know, they're the 2 zoneless units. I do think Classic Blue is a bit generally better than Diantha, but yeah, I guess you really need fairy type damage to go for Diantha, but otherwise I wouldn't really recommend, right? But yeah, moving on. Next, I'd say it's like Champion Iris. Champion Iris is weird. Like, yeah, she does have Dragon Zone, but she's kind of obsolete, right? Like, she's not really useful is the thing, because like generally she has a pretty good sync, but like you are running her in Dragon Zone, which has Lucas, which has also a very good sync, and also much easier to set up sync, right? Her sync is not the best to set up, right? It is relatively hard, although it's gotten a bit better, but it's still not great. Outside of that, she's alright. She just fell off a bit, I feel, but it's just that, like, if you are running like a dragon team, there's just so many other better options to run there, right? Like, generally on the team she'd be like that big like sync nuke option. Then again, you have Lucas on the team, which, okay, technically Champion Iris would have a higher ceiling in terms of nuke, but it is also much harder to set up, and you just can't get it up faster than Lucas, and you'll have like running Champion Iris would give you like a worse team comp overall. So it's just better to just run Lucas and a much better Dragon type DPS like a Singsuit Serena or like a Singsuit Leon, etc. Something like that, which is just would be better, right? So that's that. Moving on, Classic Elesa. Is this the first time that she's ever returned? I don't remember. It's been a while, man. I don't think she's had like a proper rerun yet. But well, here's your chance to get a Classic Elesa if you really want her. She's pretty nice, I'd say, right? Sets electric terrain, gets those debuffs in. Debuffs a lot of things, almost everything. Gets you the paralysis, gives you light screen. Thing is about Classic Elesa is, if you want a lot of those like debuff stuff, etc., right, set terrain, I feel like Bead could give you better value out of that, especially since we do have Sings with Thunderbolt Red dropping soon, right, being a much better electric training setter. If you are looking for an electric training setter, Thunderbolt Red is better, right? And that's not very close. But yeah, otherwise, right, it's a bit of a tough place to pull. So yeah, I feel like those 4 are all good units. None of these are like bad units, but it's just that those 4 at the moment, it's either they still don't exactly have what they need to be as good as some of the other ones, or in their spot there's just generally someone who does a similar thing better, right? Moving on to the last 2, these 2 are the ones I would generally recommend, right? Singsu Giovanni and Singsu Cyrus. These 2 are very, very good. Singsu Giovanni is just a big damage dealer, right? In terms of, Ground Zone Mega Kick's incredibly powerful. Steel Zone, Iron Tail's incredibly powerful. Poison Jab is not incredibly powerful, but it's the best Poison type DPS, so there's that, I guess, right? Plus he has max moves for 1 of each, so that's really nice. He's relatively easy to run as well, not a very complicated unit. So I'd say Singsu Giovanni is going to be a really, really nice option if you want any of those 3 poison, ground, or steel damage options, right? He's going to be fantastic for those. And then the last one there, Singsu Cyrus and Darkrai. Singsu Cyrus and Darkrai, this is one of the units I'm most conflicted on, because on one hand, his cap, like his ceiling is very, very high, right? In the right circumstances, this guy can be incredibly powerful. Like DPS is very, very good, Nuke very, very good, can infinitely chain sleep your opponents, set Dark Zone. He does a lot of different things very, very good. It's just very hard for him to do all those very good things at the same time, right? Because like if you look at it, he has the Dark Pulse DPS, which is very powerful. He has Dark Zone that he has to set. He has a Dark Void that he has to use to put the opponent to sleep. And a lot of times you just be having a big headache over what should you do. Because, I mean, you only have 3 turns, right, in between each sync. So, like, all right, 1 turn's going to be, well, first you buff yourself, right, unless you're using Dark Void turn 1. So you're like, okay, after you buff yourself, it's like 1 turn before sync, right? What are you going to do over here? You're going to probably set Dark Zone, depending on what you're syncing with. You're syncing with the EX Supporter, or sync with Darkrai, or sync with another EX Striker, right? If it's an EX Striker or Darkrai, you're probably setting Dark Zone here. If it's an EX Support, maybe you throw in a Dark Void, right? And then after that, you're like, okay, maybe you set Dark Zone after that, or maybe you start Dark Zone before that, right? And just leaves you, because again, you only have 3 turns to use moves in between syncs. Dark Zone's definitely going to be in one of those turns. Dark Void's going to be in one of those turns, and then it's like you're left with like 1 turn to DPS, right? So a lot of the stuff he does is incredibly broken, but you just don't get too much of each because of the limited turns. You don't have that much time, right, to use them all, to fully utilize them to the max potential, unless you're sabotaging your team comp for it, right? For example, all right, maybe you run Serena in here to sleep the opponents, so Darkrai doesn't have to. Okay, then, yeah, that's fine, but then your overall team comp isn't as cohesive, maybe, right? So it's weird. Like, it's just that he has too many tools that sometimes it becomes a bit too complicated in terms of what teams you're trying to run, what units you're gonna throw beside him, right? What specific stages you're trying to go after, which options you're trying to pick up for, master mode, right? So a lot of things he does. You just have to make sure you know how to use them well enough, right? So you don't overwhelm yourself. And yeah, it's a very, very powerful unit. Definitely a very, very powerful unit when used well. But if not, then it's easy to have this unit and start wasting his potential by, I don't want to say correctly, but like not having the right tools and timings with this unit. But otherwise, it's a A-class unit, right? Very, very, very powerful. Although I would say between these two banners, I probably suggest pulling on the other one. If you just want to pull for one, right? The one with SS or Dawn and Singsu Morty, and what was the other one? Singsu Leon, right? I'd say just one of either Dawn or Morty. I wouldn't say they're better units than someone like Singsu Giovanni or Singsu Cyrus. Maybe they are, but it's just like supports are, I just find a bit more valuable in the game at the moment, especially with Legendary Gauntlet, right, being generally, as people would consider, the hardest mode. But anyways, regardless, let's pull this, I guess. And 5k gems. Get a copy of something. How many units is this? 25? Is 25 units? I don't remember. Anyways, we're pulling. Hopefully we get some extra copies in here, which is possible. The chance is not very high, but it's possible. I mean, there's like, what, 6 units in here, so maybe we'll get one extra. Okay, that's neither of them. That's just Chris. That's just Chris. When are they going to have like a Master Fear version of this banner? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Okay, neither of them here yet. Alright, are we just gonna have Chris and like nothing else? Damn, okay. I never get really lucky on these. Alright, I usually just get the guaranteed one. Well, there's at least one more. Okay. Oh, whoa! Alright. Alright, man. Okay, I'll take 4, 5 stars. And what, 25 unit multi this was? 10, 20, 30? 31 units? Wait. 10. No, that's the line is 4. Never mind. 16, 20, yeah, 25. Okay. Yeah, whatever. That's all right. So, the ones I don't have maxed out, Classic Elesa, right? Classic Elesa, Champion Iris, Singsu Cyrus, and Singsu Giovanni. Wait, who do I have it maxed out? Diantha and who's the other one? Diantha and the other relatively older unit. We were literally just talking about it, and then like my mind just blanked, and it's gone. It's the classic blue. That's the other one I have maxed out. I think I want to go for one of the 3 out of 5s rather than the 4 out of 5s, just because I have lost copies of them. Right, so let's pick up a Classic Elesa. Also because I like Elesa a lot, so what can you do? Alright, there we go. Was this the best choice? Otherwise, no. The best choice is always going to be your favorite one. And Classic Elesa is my favorite one, so I'm going for that one. Alright. Good banner, good units, right? If you guys are missing one of these and you have the extra money to spend. Which, if you don't have the extra money to spend, don't spend it. Go buy like something else, right? Like food or something. I think that's more important. But otherwise, you know, do have some extra money lying around. This solid banner, right? Couldn't really go wrong with either of them, I'd say. But yeah, just units like Diantha maybe gotta wait a bit for her to go like absolutely crazy. But you know, at the moment, not a terrible choice. Although fairy types generally, you know, it's just off type them with something better these days. Anyways, that's it for this one, I guess. Hope you all enjoy them, guys. Think in the comments down below. Like, enjoy the videos on our channel for some more Pokemon content. See you guys in the next one.